Good morning, it's Friday. Pretty happy about that. I hope you are too. It is November 8th. It's 8:11 in the morning here in western Iowa, where we're expecting some rain. Probably overnight tonight, early morning tomorrow. But until then, our snowstorm is a snowstorm in especially eastern Colorado, northeastern New Mexico, where they have blizzard warnings up this for today. Oh my goodness. Winter storm warnings all over the place, eastern Colorado into New Mexico. And again, that blizzard warning, northeastern New Mexico. A few winter weather advisories around the edges. As you get towards Kansas, it kind of mixes with rain, so lesser amounts of snowfall accumulations. Same for the Texas Panhandle. Oklahoma Panhandle, Texas Panhandle could see a little bit of snow from this. And then it's rain, heavy rain, Texas into Oklahoma. Finally freezing in Roswell, New Mexico. It's a little late for that, but freeze warnings there. Also down into far west Texas and southeastern Arizona. Over in California, we're looking at some red flag warnings there and a couple freeze warnings. Some fog in Oregon, some fog in South Carolina, North Carolina, and also into Georgia. And then up further up the coast, it's red flag warnings for the northeast as well, and even a wind advisory way up there in Maine, way up there. It's weather spotlight time as we go to Pueblo, Colorado, where they've just been pounded with heavy snow. I'd say like 1.5 feet for Trinidad so far, and they're expecting 1.5 feet in Trinidad on top of 1.5 feet. Yeah, why not? So widespread, just massive amounts of snow for eastern Colorado on this map out of Pueblo. And you can look on the right-hand side, there's your blizzard warning on the New Mexico side of the border. That weather service out of Albuquerque issuing that. Winter storm warnings all over eastern Colorado. So snowfall rates will ramp up this morning. That's already happening. Persist through this afternoon, and then finally becoming more intermittent by this evening and eventually tapering off from south to north tomorrow. And uncertainty remains across Prowers and eastern Kiowa counties, where warmer temperatures will lead to higher chances for rain and rain snow mix, so lesser snowfall amounts as a result. But take a good look. This is what's coming today on top of what happened yesterday. Just incredible. And there it is on the surface map, that heavy snowfall, eastern Colorado into northeastern New Mexico, and snow around that all the way up into Wyoming and all the way down through central New Mexico, western New Mexico too. So places like Ruidoso, Ski Apache, seeing some good snows. I used to ski there a lot when I lived in Roswell. So much fun. I was a younger man. Heavy rain, Texas, Oklahoma, getting into Kansas a little bit too. Sliver of Arkansas, perhaps, and some severe weather here too. We'll show you. When you get further to the north, this will be later tonight for places like Nebraska, South Dakota, western Iowa. So maybe before midnight, but really here in western Iowa at least, a better chance by tomorrow morning. Also some rain chances, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, as we talked about. And then up in New England, we do see some snow perhaps, or at least rain, mix of snow, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And another little bit of system starting to creep in there in Washington State. Severe weather today, yeah, there could be slight risk for Dallas-Fort Worth area and a little bit down the I-35 corridor. And then the marginal risk goes all the way down into San Antonio and even further to the west from there. So this is your slight to marginal risk. The lighter green is just regular garden variety thunderstorms. And it's funny, see how it creeps into eastern New Mexico? That's where the snow is too. So maybe some thunder snow. There was a little bit of thunder snow yesterday in northeastern New Mexico, so maybe today too. All right, our tornado risk is here in the same area. So Dallas-Fort Worth, a 5% risk for some tornadoes. So be careful here, or at least pay attention to the forecast, have ways to receive warnings, etc. The 2% goes down almost to San Antonio. So again, pay attention in this area. Temperatures today across the country. There's your bullseye for the below average temperatures, 20, 25 degrees below average for northeastern New Mexico, eastern Colorado. And then, going out from that, below average temperatures get into West Texas, and even into Arkansas. I'm sorry, Arkansas a little bit, but Oklahoma, Kansas, and back into Utah, whatever. And so back, whatever. And then for Canada, much above temperatures, crossing the border into the Dakotas and Montana and even the upper Midwest. And then another area of teens above average for the Carolinas. That translates to these kinds of highs. I mean, 80s for Northern California, low 80s, but still 80s. And some 70s in Virginia, just super pleasant for this time of year. My goodness. I mean, even the 60s for Pennsylvania is very nice for, ending the first week of November. We're looking more 50s here in Iowa and up into Minnesota. Those translate to 40s as you get further to the north, 50s for eastern Montana. But there's your bullseye in the Colorado Rockies with those below average temperatures and temperatures, obviously near freezing where it's snowing. Warmer for the desert Southwest where they've been quite cool, but they're starting a warming trend, I guess you could say. And low 60s for the Willamette Valley of Oregon. Low temperatures tomorrow morning, quite cold in the west. And also Great Lakes into the northeast, seasonably cold. In fact, slightly above average, really, even though these temperatures will be back below freezing for, say, like New York State. But it should be colder than this even. And we're going to fix that. We'll show you. And then warm in the southeast. So to start the day tomorrow. I should have had that backwards. I should have put the lows first. Anyway, your surface for tomorrow looks like this. Here's Hurricane Raphael in the Gulf, hurting nobody, but increasing the moisture for the southeast. So heavy rainfall from Houston through Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and around that thunderstorms. That swath of rain for the Midwest up into the Great Lakes. Again, the rain will be ending here in Iowa, so I don't see a whole bunch of rain for us tomorrow, again in the morning, but clearing by afternoon, maybe some lingering snow back in Colorado, Wyoming, and another storm system moving into the Pacific Northwest. Anomalous temperatures for tomorrow, remaining below average, New Mexico, Colorado, and around that, but not quite as much below average. And then the above average temperatures back in the southeast, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. So pleasant temperatures for this time of year. And just incredible for North Dakota, 20 degrees above average is kind of crazy. High temperatures in North Dakota, 20 degrees above average is 50. It should be freezing right now in North Dakota. So it's going to be quite warm tomorrow. South Dakota in the 40s. We have more 40s here in Iowa, so a little bit cooler actually than today. Then you get into Texas, you have a widespread mid-70s across the state. So again, that's pleasant. Even low 80s, Mississippi, Alabama, down into Florida and Georgia. Just really nice temperatures. If you want to get outside and play in the park, you can do that, all the way up into Tennessee and Kentucky. So quite warm for this time of year over much of the country. And then as we get to this is really interesting. Here's our 24-hour snow predictions. As, again, just another way to look at this with widespread 1/2 foot to 20 inches, depending on where you are in eastern Colorado and northeastern New Mexico. And so a lot of snow. And then as we throw in the rain around that, so this is 24-hour snow, this is 24-hour precipitation. So then we have the rain in Kansas. So, like some places an inch, widespread 1.5 to 2 inches in Kansas. We've got Oklahoma, widespread 1.5 to over 2 inches here. And even North Texas could be an inch or 1.5 depending on where you are. Even into the eastern panhandle of Texas, 1.5 of rain. So a lot of rain here in the plains. Even moving into Arkansas, could see up to 1/2 inch. And we'll expand out and look at the 48-hour precipitation. So throwing in the heavy rain for Louisiana, a couple inches possible here, an inch or two for Mississippi into Tennessee, getting into Kentucky as well. And Raphael in the Gulf, helping to add to the moisture here. And then Pacific Northwest, some heavy rain and snow for the Olympic Peninsula and also for the northern part of the state, so Seattle and north and into the foothills. To round out the weekend, here's your surface for Sunday. Scattered showers across the southeast into the Tennessee and Ohio valleys and the mid-Atlantic, and then it's more of a general rain for the Great Lakes into the northeast, and our next storm system for the Pacific Northwest, rain and snow. Your temperatures for Sunday really moderating countrywide, with temperatures generally above average, especially northern plains and even into the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, down through the Mississippi River Valley. But slightly below average for like Georgia, the Carolinas, into Virginia and Pennsylvania. And where we have snow on the ground in New Mexico and Colorado, remaining below average here, even as the low has pulled away. Sunday's highs still hanging on to lots of 40s and probably 30s with elevation, but lots of 40s for northern New Mexico into Colorado, in the plains of Colorado, and even cooler as you get into the northern Rockies. But, warm still. Texas, southeast, Florida, all the way up into the Ohio Valley. It's like mid 60s for Indiana and Ohio and Georgia, and Kentucky, and even 70s for lots of Tennessee. So warm temperatures, and even 50s in the Northeast is still above average. So pretty nice weekend. Let's check out the GFS model. We'll again go through all of what we just went through, except showing you where the precipitation is, and also go beyond the weekend too. So that's what we like to do. So starting with this morning, here's your snow in northeastern New Mexico into Colorado. Here's Raphael in the Gulf, hurting nobody, but again, adding some moisture to the system in time. And our Pacific Northwest storm hasn't quite made it here. This is 6 a.m., so this is actually 2 hours ago or so, and this is about a half hour from now. So snow increasing this morning, eastern Colorado, northeastern New Mexico, and even getting down to maybe even Clovis. I didn't check Clovis's weather. They might be getting a little bit of snow out of this too. Heavy rain, Oklahoma, Kansas, into West Texas. And those heavy rain showers continue to move over Oklahoma and into Kansas with heavy snow back in Colorado. This gets us to this afternoon, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock this evening. Still coming down hard with that snow. Getting into the Oklahoma Panhandle, though, and parts of the Texas Panhandle as snow. But again, heavy rain for Kansas. And then rain for eastern Oklahoma into East Texas, and a little bit for Louisiana. As the low starts to open up, so you get a closed low, tight spin, and then it starts to open up. It weakens as that happens, and so it's going to open up and move to the northeast and probably pick up speed too. So the storm's been sitting over, sitting in the Four Corners and now slowly moving into the plains for like 2-3 days. And it's going to hurry up now. So the rain moving into Nebraska, into western Iowa. So this is midnight tonight. There's my rain tomorrow morning. The snow is starting to lighten in eastern Colorado as the low weakens and moves off to the north. But Raphael feeding some moisture into the storm. So heavy showers now for like Missouri, southern Iowa, parts of Arkansas, getting into the Mississippi River, the Delta, basically. And as that low continues, the rain becomes more light, except in the southeast, we're seeing heavier rain. Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. This gets us into Saturday night. Another system moving into the Pacific Northwest as we see showers there, not too heavy. The heavy rains now moving into, say, Nashville, Bowling Green, Kentucky, scattered throughout Indiana, moving into the Ohio Valley, parts of the Great Lakes, Detroit getting soaked here. Again, back through Kentucky, through Tennessee, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Raphael not really making landfall, but some heavy rainfall along the coast. This is Sunday, rain for northwestern Oregon. How odd for them. As we get later in the day, Sunday, this is Sunday night. And this gets us to midnight right here as the rain spreads across the northeast. Not super heavy, but it's been a while. So the northeast getting a little bit of rain and a little bit of a cool off. And showers and storms for the Carolinas and another storm system moving through Oregon, Washington, Northern California. So that gets us through the weekend. This is Monday morning. We'll speed up now a little bit. We'll see another Pacific Northwest storm spreading some light snow into interior Northwest and into the Northern Rockies. Little system forming here along the Canadian border. And you see the increasing wind here and the 540 line dropping south and a cold front forming with some showers along that. So this is Wednesday, early Wednesday. So a cold front moving into the northern plains, northern Midwest, cooling things off, and it'll feel colder with that north wind. And then that cold air is going to push mostly eastward, not as much southward. Meanwhile, Pacific Northwest storm spreading rain and snow. This front bringing some rain into the Ohio Valley. And again, the cooler temperatures behind it will move into the Great Lakes, into the upper Midwest, into the Midwest, Ohio Valley, a line of showers moving into the Northeast all the way down to the Mid-Atlantic. And then that skedaddles, well, actually a low forms along here. This is really interesting. So this is the 14th. So this Thursday. So, within our 7-day forecast. So maybe a little higher certainty here. We might see a low develop near the coast. So rain or snow, depending on location of the low, for the Northeast as we get into late next week. So the Northeast, they've been lacking snow and cold. We might fix that later in the week and see the wind cranking and the 540 line south. And so, I wouldn't call it a nor'easter, but nor'easter light as we get a week from today for the Northeast, rain and snow for the Northwest. And then we'll move a little faster, see if anything else is interesting. This gets us to the 17th, another cold front for the center of the country, rain and snow. And let's see how far, that doesn't go super far south again, but we do have a front here. So the cooler air is still getting into Texas, the coldest air staying upper Midwest and moving through the Great Lakes into the Northeast. And so the cold air not making super southern progress, but we're starting to see a little bit of a change for the Northeast. Is this another hurricane type storm? Look at that. I didn't even notice that until now. Well, we'll see if this comes true. So a possible hurricane for southern Florida around the 19th. Wow. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. As we get closer, we'll start pulling up the National Hurricane Center. Some heavy rain across the southeast, getting way out there, 21st, a week before Thanksgiving. Another Pacific Northwest storm. Cold air staying upper Midwest. Well, Northern Plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Northeast. But we do have some colder air heading your way, New England, and even Ohio Valley. So watch out for that. Look at this big warm up. As it gets really cold in the Northeast, it's going to warm up in the middle of the country again about a week before Thanksgiving. All right, that's getting out towards the land of uncertainty. So we'll keep an eye on that, of course. Next 8 to 10 day temperatures for the 15th through the 21st. Below average west, above average east. Alaska near average for the most part. Hawaii above average for the most part. Precipitation, lots of it, especially in the center of the country, back towards the Central Rockies and even the Intermountain West, places like Utah. Below average, we're going to stick with the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. But as we saw, we'll probably fix that as we get past the 21st. Looks like above average for Alaska. This time of year, that's snow. And above average for Hawaii as well. Hawaii's forecast year-round is, partly cloudy with a chance of afternoon showers and a high in the low 80s. That's pretty constant. All right, there you go. Forecast through the weekend, guaranteed, or your time back and beyond. We'll keep you posted. Things are staying interesting. And so it's kind of fun to talk about. So thank you for tuning in. Super appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow right here on the Weather Mic.